girls, welcome back to a new episode of your favorite show, Money Maketh Man. I'm your host, J, aka OG, and this is a new episode of Money Maketh Man. On this episode, we'll be talking about 4 apps that can take your money from 0 to 100. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere. Welcome back, guys. So on the first app on my list is PiggyVest. So PiggyVest is available on Google Play Store and Apple App Store. It's primarily a savings app. It has different features to save in naira, save in dollars, target savings. So if you want to save for a particular thing, you could save for, let's say you want to save for a car and you say you want to buy a car in a year. So you have 365 days to buy a car of 5 million. So it breaks down how much you need to save on a daily basis and helps you attain that target with a set interest rate on the app. This also goes for safety lock. If there's money that you don't want to touch for like 30, 60 days, 90 days, 180 days, you can put it in the safety lock and it has a set interest rate. These interest rates are in line with what is recommended by the central bank because it's licensed by the central bank. So in line with the MPR, the interest rate tally. So it gives you assurance of your money being safe, and also you are saving. Your money is working for you because it's growing with the interest rate. Other than the features, PiggyVest is also very secure. So that's one thing about money. The security of money is also important. So your app has biometric, 2-factor authentication. The user experience is easy. You can slide from one page to the other, and the customer service is really fast. So if you need anything, once you shoot them an email, 10-15 minutes later, they've given you a response on how to go about it. So that's the first one, PiggyVest. The second one, Bamboo. Why I like Bamboo? Yeah, Bamboo is an investment app, and with investments, it's not quick returns because it takes a while to grow. However, Bamboo shows that with the name, because if you know how a bamboo plant works, it's in the ground for like 0 to 4 years, and it really doesn't shoot up. Then in the 5th year, it just really springs up and becomes this tall bamboo plant that we all know. So when I heard, Bamboo as an investment app, it made a lot of sense to me, because when you invest money, you might not get returns first, second year, but after 3, 4, 5 years, your money comes back in high returns. So the way bamboo plant works, kind of how investment works. So that's why I like Bamboo. So Bamboo has the options for investments. It's strictly investment. So you can buy Nigerian and international stocks and shares on Bamboo. You can also buy into T-bills, treasury bills. A T-bill is a short-term debt instrument issued by the federal government. So T-bills, basically, you're kind of borrowing money to the federal government, but they will pay you back with interest on top of it. So, and it's short-term. Short-term in finance is anything for a year and below. So 365 days and below is regarded as short-term. But the good thing with Bamboo is that you don't need to buy one whole bill. They break it down into pieces. So you could buy like 10K worth of a treasury bill, for example. I'm giving an example, but mostly it allows you buy shares in Nigerian and international companies. They remit your dividends back to you into the account you provide for dividends payment. You can see, the trend of how the shares of different companies have been performing. It gives you a brief history into the companies, and you can always obviously do more research on the companies you want to invest in. Bamboo obviously collects transaction fees per usual. And side notes, the performance of the shares and stocks is totally dependent on how the companies are performing in the Nigerian stock market. If you are investing in Nigerian companies or companies that operate in Nigeria, and so goes to the companies you invest in dollars or international companies, the performance is dependent on how the companies are performing in the international stock exchange market. So you can buy and sell your shares as you please. One thing I forgot to say about PiggyVest is that PiggyVest also provides quick investments opportunities. So you can invest into real estate, you can invest into commercial papers, debt notes. So they basically break it down into little fragments of typically 5K per piece. So I'm going to use the word per piece, but like the more you buy, obviously the higher your returns, and then the tenor, which is the time frame of the investment, is listed there along with the interest rate and the company you're investing in. So they give you like a brief bio and what it's about, and it's left to you. But PiggyVest, unlike Bamboo, is for savings. Bamboo is for investment. The next app is RiseVest. So RiseVest, the name Vest, also has investment in it. But with RiseVest, it typically breaks the investment plans to short term, mid term, long term. So for short term tenors, this is usually fixed income, like less than a year. Typically, if you're older and you don't have that much expendable funds, like if you don't have so much money that you can possibly lose, it's easier to go with short term or mid term, which are more stable but have lower returns than the long term goals, which are high risk, high reward in that sense. So RiseVest gives you the short term, mid term, long term options. So it's usually fixed income, real estate, and stocks and shares in international, and I don't think they do Nigerian companies, but that's it. But RiseVest typically deals with dollars, so you would have to convert your naira to dollar. So that's done on the app. The last app I'll be talking about is Cowrywise. Cowrywise is a lot like PiggyVest because it helps you save. But the major thing with Cowrywise is that Cowrywise has gone a step further to give cards for swiping for transportation. So you could have like a credit on your Cowrywise card and use it for transportation and movement within Lagos State. I live in Lagos, so I would only say it works in Lagos. I've not seen it in any other place yet. But if you have a Cowrywise account, you can get a Cowrywise card and tap on, those blue buses that move around. Yeah, you could use it to tap for travel. And I believe it also works with the train. So that can also work. So other than saving, it also helps you move around with public transportation, which is another means to save money than using like Uber or trekking or fueling your car. etc. Carrywise also gives you that. I would also say that for all these apps, they have terms and conditions on their apps and on the app store, so that's for you to read and know which one you would prefer. These apps also have transaction charges, so obviously they're not working for free, so every transaction you do, they have a charge on top of it. These apps are typically secure. Most of them have two-factor authentication. They work with OTPs, pins, biometric scanning and authentication, so for the better part, your funds are secure. Another thing I would like to talk about that can take your money from 0 to 100 is the dollar fund. In my first or second episode, I spoke about dollar funds briefly, but I like to double down on dollar funds today. So a dollar fund basically is an investment fund that is domiciled in dollars. Not all banks in Nigeria offer the opportunity for you to have a dollar fund. So you have to look for a bank that does that. The dollar fund is you saving in dollars, and then the interest rate is reflecting of what the interest rate is in America. So typically America does single digit interest rate. So the dollar fund really rotates between 5.5% to 7.2% on an average day in terms of interest rates. For each time you invest, you can't invest like $1, $2, $50. You have to do it in hundreds. But so if you put $100, you have a unit of a dollar fund. So anytime you top up, it has to be another 100, another 100. So if you have $1,000 in your dollar fund, you have 10 units, but you have $1,000. I don't know if you're getting the math that I'm doing. The thing with dollar fund is typically, especially when the naira was more volatile, more people were changing their money to dollars so that it could hedge against the naira. But since the year started, naira hasn't been that volatile in terms of exchange rates. It's just been between 1.5 and 1.6 for most of the year so far. So it's not as volatile as previous years. However, if you do want to invest in dollars, one thing you should know is that the interest rate is not as enticing as the interest rate in Nigeria, because we have a double digit interest rate. I believe our interest rate is about 21% right now, if I'm not mistaken, for savings. So as opposed to a single digit in dollars. However, you know that you have funds in a more, stable currency. And also for diversification of your portfolio, I wouldn't advise you put all your eggs in one basket when it comes to savings and investments. I believe spreading across different things, from assets like land and buildings, to having actual cash in savings, to stocks and shares, to dollar fund. My go-to when it comes to investment and savings is diversification. So in case anything sup, let me speak pigeon, if anything sup for somewhere, you have a backup plan. Thank you for watching this episode of Money Maketh Man. I hope you like, share, and you learned something from this episode. Get your money from 0 to 100, and until the next time you see my face, do have a great day. Bye.